This video is sponsored by Squarespace, making the daunting task of building a website really easy. So these are bamboo handlebars. I know what you're thinking, there's no way that I'm gonna trust my life to the same material that they use to make chopsticks, but hear me out. That's what I thought too until I got the chance to actually try them. These are handlebars made by a brand called, how do you pronounce the name of the handlebar company?
Cashier.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
And is that French?
And it's actually the guy who my partner Dirk. He's the craftsman. He's from Netherlands.
But what's interesting about these handlebars is that they use an engineered bamboo to make a laminated handlebar. So it's not just like some random kind of bamboo plant.
No, just don't go out to your the backyard and cut a bit of bamboo out. So yeah, the laminations. So we'll have lemon laminates make the handlebar, and they're all glued together, put into a press at managed heats, and then we take those blanks out and then we shape those.
The handlebars also go through some ISO testing for commuting and touring, not quite mountain bike level.
And that involves 100,000 vibrations going up and down. It takes about 5 days of 20 kg on each side, then 25 kg at the same time. You know, I've done testing with them just in terms of the outdoors, where I've had them outdoors for 2 years. The bike's not looking so good, but the bars are looking good.
In terms of installing them, they came together fairly easy, just like any other handlebar. You'll notice there's a piece of carbon fiber here, and that's just to reinforce this area where it gets the most strength from the stem bolts. I have to tell you, it's one of those quirky products that I almost just passed on, but in emailing with them and talking with Mike just got me really curious. I know what you're thinking, but how do these handlebars ride? Before I tell you how buttery smooth they ride, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, Squarespace. Also buttery smooth, but in a different way. Squarespace is your one-stop shop where you can buy a domain and build a website. They make it really easy, even for a literature major like me. I was able to create a website in basically a weekend around one of my other interests, watercolors. I put together peddlingpainter.com just in a couple days, just so I can show off my cycling related art. I was able to create a gallery, talk about some of the artwork, sell them, as well as create a contact form. All this stuff without having to write a single line of code. So I highly recommend it. It is as easy as they say. So if you want to make a website and you want to do it really quickly and easily, definitely check out Squarespace. And when you're ready to launch, check out the URL and the promo code below to save you 10% off of your first domain or your first Squarespace website. Thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring this video. So first off, what does it feel like? Well, amazingly, this is one of those products where it's really noticeable how flexy it is. Whoops. Just in kind of bumpy terrain, I can really feel the handlebar give. Also, when I brake, I can feel the bars give as the bike slows down, but I'm still kind of moving forward. The handlebars give just that tiny bit. So in terms of flexible components, it's definitely really noticeable. Unlike some carbon seat posts that I've tested where flex is really dependent on how much seat post is exposed, this is completely obvious. I think it's comfortable. It might be a little unnerving to some that are used to a really stiff cockpit.
Everyone's used to a solid, handlebars. You jump on the gumps and there's a degree of flex. You think, oh, is this strong? And the answer to that is most certainly they are.
We're about to go up on a climb here. So let's talk hand positions. Obviously, you've got this really wide hand position here. Good for standing and climbing and really throwing the bike around. But I also find choking up the bars a little bit closer to the center is also a nice hand position. So you've got options, basically. I think I actually enjoy this inner position for climbing because you can bend forward, engage some larger muscles, and really get that leverage on the pedals. So on that paved climb, no problem. Let's see how it does on slightly chunkier terrain. So far, I'm really enjoying the bar. You can totally feel that slight flex. I don't have a real accurate way of measuring it, but I feel like it gives anywhere between 1 to 2 centimeters. So pretty interesting. So again, this isn't going to be for everyone. I know this is going to totally freak some people out. However, I do think it's a kind of a unique product out there on the market. For the record, they do say that this bar should not be taken on super extreme mountain bike trails.
Where's the threshold where you say, well, this handlebar probably isn't for you?
If you've got an enduro bike with 160 on both ends and you wear knee pads and protection, just don't go anywhere near it.
Okay, we're getting into the chunk, so apologies if it's really bouncy here. But for things like touring, gravel riding, bike packing, on I'd suspect mostly green flowy trails with some chunk but no jumps, then this bar would be an interesting option.
I'm assuming you guys tested it to failure. Does it break all of a sudden, or does it give you warning if it gives?
It does give warning. It's not catastrophic failure like the old carbon. We've tested with broken carbon, alloy. Carbon is catastrophic. Alloy isn't, and ours aren't either. They'll, with the laminations, being 11 laminations, they will slowly, I guess you'd say, delaminate. And so you could get home with broken bars.
I actually think it would make a really cool component to a gravel dad bike build. So on the slightly chunkier climb, when I roll over a fist-sized rock, you can definitely feel the bars give just that tiny bit. Okay, so we've made it uphill. So far, pretty impressed with it. It totally noticeably flexes, I don't think in a bad way. But now for the real test. We're gonna go down this chunky descent and we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, this is where you can really feel it give. So I'd say consistently, it feels like it's moving at least a centimeter, and on harder things, even more. And the way it's flexing is pretty interesting. It doesn't flex at just the kind of handle area, but it's more of a full handlebar flex, if you know what I mean. It's kind of like the difference between casting with a fiberglass or bamboo rod as opposed to a more modern composite. So if you fish, hopefully you got that analogy, but it's basically a deep bending flex. Woo. Really takes a sting out of a lot of the small chatter. I thought this bike was comfortable before with the ESI grips, but this is another level. All right, some more chunky stuff. Yeah, totally soaks that up. Some more bigger stuff, yep. Take it over here. Woo. It really is eating up all this small stuff without a problem. In some ways, it's kind of like having the redshift stem, but the whole thing isn't going up and down, just like the ends of the bars. It probably goes without saying that having a wider bar also gives better control on stuff like this, so added benefit. This part's pretty smooth. It's handling this pretty well, but we are about to hit probably the chunkiest stuff on this short loop here. I'm always a little skeptical about things that are supposed to add suspension, but this does it. Oh, hey pups. Like carbon seat posts that supposedly flex, but are dependent on how much seat posts you have exposed, kind of bum me out, but this, 100% you'll feel it. So if it's what you're looking for, pretty cool. All right, getting chunky. Woo-hoo-hoo. Ooh, nice. I have to say, pretty good. Okay, not technical, but definitely bumpy. And I think this is kind of the terrain these bars were meant for. So are these handlebars for you? It kind of depends. I think these would be awesome for some paved and unpaved road touring, some gravel riding. If you're gonna be hucking jumps fairly often, probably not. These would also make great bars for in-town commuting. They look classy as heck, as well as add kind of an unparalleled level of comfort and vibration dampening. Combined with the ESI grips, this has to be one of the most comfortable cockpits I've ever ridden in. They're definitely not for everybody, especially if you like super stiff and super ultra precise steering in the front. However, if you're looking for the alt bar, something super cushioned, something super supple, then definitely check out
Cashier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But let me know what you think. Is the notion of bamboo handlebars too weird, too unsafe? Gives you the heebie-jeebies? Let me know in the comments. I'm sure you already have. And if you like content like this, don't forget to subscribe. Consider supporting the channel by joining us on Patreon. That is the best way. It keeps all this good content coming, focused on interesting non-racing things. And as always, everybody, keep the supple side down.